Hello everybody, welcome back to Eternal Brews. My name is Pojo. We are looking at Bear Force 1 today, our first attempt at an expedition grind deck. This is a fairly cheapish little list that you can build using fairly few legendaries from the new set. So something to climb the ladder with, basically an experimental archetype that we played about 20 games with and won a pretty large number of those 20 games with. Had a really fun time with this, got ourselves out of like bronze or whatever because we haven't been playing since before Revelations, and really just had a wonderful time playing around with a lot of interesting synergistic Warcry cards. And Warcry is once again alive and well. This time we're playing it in Huru, which is pretty unusual and really just a lot of fun. So let's talk about the deck. There's a lot of cool stuff in here and a lot of like interesting interactions. So central themes of the deck. We are a Terra Everloyal deck, and we are doing a lot of things with Terra Everloyal. Namely, we're playing Endless Steps, the Terra's Agenda card, in order to play 8 copies of Terra, although typically Endless Steps will not trigger Terra multiple times. So if you haven't seen this card, this is one of the new legendaries from the set. It's your most recently played unit has strength and health equal to Endless Steps loyalty, or health, I think it's called. Yeah, I think Endless Steps sites just have health in this game. I'm pretty sure that there isn't an official term for them beyond that. But in any case, gives a huge bonus to enemies' health based on like your actual stats, and also, or it gives a huge bonus to your allies' health based on those stats, and then has Terra's Agenda, which is endure, 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 endure. We haven't discussed this card yet. I'm personally mostly a fan of its design, but I think as a flavor aspect, it should abide by the rule of threes and just say endure, 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 because that's a little bit more interesting. It is, however, a 4 agenda site, and the 4th hit on the agenda is that you play Terra Everloyal, which is a pretty simple 3-drop that when you summon it, gives one of your other units Warcry 2, and when an enemy kills that unit, you double Terra's strength and health, and she gets Warcry 4. So the basic idea behind this deck is we are playing Warcry aggro. We are trying to run in with like pretty aggressive 2-drops and 1-drops. We are giving those cards Warcry or having them Warcry themselves. And then we are sort of mid-ranging it out in 3 costs with Fort Smasher, Terra, Keiko, and a number of other cards before finishing out with Release Bear Rider and Battle Bear. So this deck really gets into the bears at the end. The curve is pretty interesting, but all of the cards have quite a bit of synergy with each other. And another thing that we are using to generate some synergy is Well-Laid Trap and a couple of other like interesting shenanigans in Huru. So Well-Laid Trap is the new 0-cost fast spell trick. This thing's ridiculous. It gives a unit endurance this turn, which is notable because Endure will not. And then also gives an attacking enemy unit -2 strength this turn, which is a way to pop Aegises and do a bunch of other things. Basically just makes it so that pretty likely any unit that's attacking you is going to get punished for doing so. Really good for answering like a lot of different tricks. Doesn't answer flyers, but it does mean that you can actually do some unusual things with the deck. So when we look at our general basic plan, we're playing super large units that are kind of sticky. Cards like Invasive Species that come back from the void once we've lost all of our power. Cards like Keiko the Bodyguard, who is hidden and also has that like nice lifesteal bonus, so it gets the war cries and also gets to build on its own self while keeping you alive. And then cards like Crown Notch Paladin, Ursa Squadron, which are just super fast, super aggressive options that are really responsive to cards like Finest Hour and the Rune of Law, all of which buff the cards up and allow them to attack in multiple times. Frequently we'll be attacking in with Terra Everloyal on top of that card, giving the card an extra 2 Warcry, and then just swinging in for a +3/+3 buff while expecting that if they do trade or even trade up, the Terra becomes a 6/6 with Warcry 4, which is also pretty ridiculous. With all of these Warcries happening, something big is bound to cross our board. Battle Bear is our sort of like main interaction because it interacts with Well-Laid Trap, but we also have Release Bear Rider, who is an incredibly good 4-drop for this type of deck, gives everything in the deck Overwhelm and allows us to smash in for multiple different effects. Since this deck is really rich in 3-drops and 2-drops, we play Fort Smasher, a card that I really just love for building out extremely fast boards. And in all of these situations, we run some jetpacks because bears with jetpacks is excellent, and also being able to give things flying is pretty pretty excellent, as well as Manacles for a similar reason, and the Great Blade, which is just a little experiment that we are actually really enjoying with doubling units, where when the wielder, that is the unit, has more health than a player, which is either player, that unit gets double damage, endurance, and is invulnerable to damage. Stick this on a Keiko, then you have a double damage lifesteal, invulnerable to damage endurance card that does some ridiculous nonsense. It's also got an Amplify. You probably won't play it in this deck because the cost is so high, but it is possible to play the Amplify and get some decent benefits as well. Yeah, so Great Blade goes on something like a Battle Bear, something like a big Warcry unit, something that's been doubled up by the Endless Steps, and generally gets you a huge unit at the end stage of the game when you are most likely to be into a pretty interesting situation. Yeah, that's the basics of it. This deck is pretty straightforward. It basically just builds Warcry units, does like a lot of interesting shenanigans, and then most of the cards kind of just tend to work together with each other. We run Finest Hour and Stormholt Concoction to push across extra damage. We have a decent amount of like removal, and we're still fiddling with the numbers a little bit, playing with a lot of different things. So you might see a fine-tuned version of this list in the highlights at some point, but so far it's been running really well, and can't wait to show off some games for it. So let's go ahead and get into those games. There's some really fun stuff up ahead, and we'll see you there. Cheers. Warblunt. Redraw there. Invasive, Justice Sketch, Rune of Law. Okay. Gatecrash Troopers. That's an interesting starter. I like that these are both depleted. Okay. We gotta play Fort Smasher soon. Am I gonna get ice bolted here? Not so far, no. The Lease and Fort Smasher go together really well. I'm actually pretty stoked about them.
Choose your path.
Yeah, I think I Finest Hour here.
Defend the throne.
Seems reasonable to make the stealth units cost more. We're in some awkward territory at the moment.
I've got your back.
Double Warcry, and the invasive species has Warcry 2 forever, which is kind of great. Rune of Law saddles us up. Release Bear Rider. Makes smashing happen. Okay. How do we feel about this? I can get a bunch of cards off Stormhole Concoction without much difficulty. And I want to play Valise. Yeah, I think we offer the invasive species here.
Behind me.
Farewell, Research Lab. We don't need you just yet. I think Rune of Law is going to be a little stronger here. Okay. Doubling stealth units. What's the Primal Reflector deck? Gotta think about what that stealth card is. They're Primal and Elysian, so... could be a couple of things. Apparently none of which are that important right now. Okay, I like these two attacks. Gonna ditch Rune of Law.
Keep your edge.
Oh, it's just the draw cards make big things. Yeah, that's fine. We can live with that. Oh no. It's a trap! This deck's great. Should I commit a little higher to like the well-laid traps maybe? I could cut some Endless Steps. No, Endless Steps buffs our unit. I keep forgetting how good that is. This was a bad keep, actually. Wow, this hand is miserable. Yeah, this was a go to 6 hand. Okay, well at least we got Valise. Not a bad start. Ugh, Ring of Glamour.
Behind me.
This is gonna get pretty wild pretty fast. Nope, can't play a unit with stealth this turn. They can only Ice Bolt me. I'll live. Ursa Squadron or Valise? That's a tough one.
Battle formation.
Because either one's kind of inefficient. The thing is that Well-Laid Trap is just an incredible card for this type of setup. Happy to discard an Endless Step here.
Everything in its place.
Doesn't trigger summons, though. You just replicated it? Well, I'm feeling pretty strong. Well-Laid Trap is a zero-cost trick, and it's also just insane. Like, it's just... I cannot believe they put this card in. I want to put the Great Blade on it. I think I do. What's that? It had equal health to the player, actually, but works for me. Oh, no, wait, because now it's my most recently played unit. For some reason. Endless Step's weird.
Everything in its place.
Amazing. They're just keeping the +3/+3. Well, the +3/+3 bonus is from the doubling, I think, is what we're talking about. We got those bare necessities, those simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. You got those bare necessities. Da-da-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. The simple bare necessities of life. Old Mother Nature's recipes. I don't think I ever had the linguistic skill to translate that. Ursa Squadron Tara. This is a tricky one, right? We gotta draw a green. If we draw a green, best in the world. I think we keep it. Like, even if we draw a blue, we at least start setting up for police. Yeah, I might be a little too dependent on a green source here. Okay. Is Nevaquake Titan named Go, actually? It is at the moment. That is the bug.
Battle formation.
Go! I love it so much. Show me your inner Yavo. So Ursa Squadron, actually takes the place alongside,
I've got your back.
the hot nonsense that is... What am I thinking? Okay. Warcry 266. Love it. Soon to be a Warcry 466, assuming we don't get it removed this turn. What you got? Ah, Topple. Good call.
Battle formation.
Battle formations.
Let's have a fair fight.
I don't have a well-laid trap right now. I do have a 5/4 invasive species. And that's like having a well-laid trap in many ways.
Papers, please.
Should I stay or should I Nova?
I've got your back.
Kind of wanted to give that 5/4 Warcry, but because there's 2 Battle Bears in my hand, I'm not going to get it back. So it's better to just give it up here. Get another 6/6 Warcry. That can get toppled again, but Invasive Species is still here. And Valise is looking pretty good. Yep, not dealing with that. Don't know why I would.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Valise gonna be so strong here.
Behind me.
Also an even bigger invasive species. I love it. Discard a bear. Play a sketch, play an invasive species. There's so much good synergy in this deck. Like, everything synergizes well with Warcry. Valise draws cards, which actually gets you into Battle Bear faster. Most everything is just, like, you really don't want to leave it on the board, but because Terra is making it, like, so hard to not leave on the board, the tempo is just amazing. That about does it for today. As always, we are streaming live on Twitch TV/LocoPocho. You can also check us out on Patreon if you're interested in supporting the YouTube channel specifically. But subbing to us using your Amazon Prime sub is a great way to support the stream if you're interested. Also, feel free to subscribe and ring that bell if you want to see more videos. See you next time. This was a really, really wonderful time, and we're looking forward to building more Revelations brews very, very soon. We also got some card breakdowns coming up. And on the stream, you can expect us to be playing quite a bit of this. We're going to be trying out some Sunless Skies fairly soon, since the Sovereign Edition just dropped, and I think we're planning on playing a couple of other things in the future as well. Those will be bonus streams. We are still doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. schedule for Eternal, and should be doing that for the time being, and just sort of doing extra stuff afterwards. So thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers!